أعزائي المشاهدين، كما عودناكم في برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي، نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة. ولهذا الأسبوع نستضيف السيد فريد بهذه، المدير التنفيذي والمؤسس لشركة ألفريد Management and Business Consultancy في إمارات دبي. Good afternoon, Mr. Farid.
Good afternoon.
We would like to know who is Farid Bihazali and when he came to the Middle East at the first time.
Okay, as you already mentioned in the introduction, my name is Fred VESSALI. I'm an Australian citizen, and I came actually to Middle East back in 1999, you know. That was my first trip here. Since then, when I went back to Australia, I was very fascinated. My dream was always to come to Dubai and to basically have a business here for many reasons, you know, security-wise, and having a very good, what they call a network, so you can basically have a lot of exposure to different kinds of risks. So that was always my dream, you know. So that dream actually happened when I came back to Dubai in 2008. Prior to that, I was working in Australia in different fields. I started my career working in the production area with Johnson & Johnson. And from there, I moved into a company called Kellogg's Company. Maybe many people know about it. So I was with them for about 19 years in different fields. My last basically position with them was Australian New Zealand basically relationship manager, more in terms of the procurement side. And then when I moved from Kellogg's, I moved into Switzerland. I worked for a company called Lindt and Sprungly. It's a confectionery actually products more into the chocolate and things like that, you know. So I lived in Switzerland for about a year and a half before moving to Dubai, you know. It's 2008, I moved into Dubai, and I started working in a real estate company as a chief executive officer of that company for a year and a half. And then before I moved into Oman. In Oman, I moved to a company called Utility Company, more in the electricity side and things like that, as a procurement and strategy manager. Then I moved in as a senior manager in technical services. Then from there, I moved into Oman Air. I was the vice president of supply chain for about 7 years and 7 months before moving to Oman Hotels, which I'm there now for about 6 years and 8 months, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a chief executive officer there. The company I've got here, Alfred Management Business Consultancy, I set this up actually back in 2010, you know. The company then, in terms of activities, we were so small, you know. We were only focusing on one activity, which is more related to the immigration office. Immigration basically activities. So people that they needed our help to basically migrate to the other countries. It doesn't matter whether in Europe, Caribbean island, you know, everything, you know, we could have we started basically helping them. But then because when I was in Oman, I couldn't focus more into this business. So I started traveling a bit more to Dubai. I started basically diversifying my business a bit more. At the moment, the company has 7 different activities. Obviously, immigration is one of them. And then we've got marketing, procurement. We can do the business setup in Dubai for the clients, and business and management basically consultancy. We are doing all those activities. And obviously, we are trying to diversify more and then try to have more resources to try to basically be more focused on the other activities as well, if we can, you know. So that's basically who Fred is, you know, and that's where I come from, and we'll see how we go.
After a long experience and strong also in the Middle East, you start to have your own business, which was dream for you to have it in Dubai. You started the company in 2010. after the world financial crisis or in the middle of world financial crisis? It was a gambling for you or it was a right time to start?
See, I think the crisis started in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously it was a learning curve for everyone. And there was actually a lot of, coming from Australia, we are in a way used to this fluctuation in the market, you know. In Dubai, it was a bit new to me, you know. I think basically, we were ambushed, you could say that, you know, in 2008. But I didn't have that company then. But it was definitely a lot of help to us to basically see whether things like happen, because these are what we call force majeure, or you could say as a, you know, act of God. You know, it can happen from many, many reasons, you know. Right. But how you learn from it, because see, a successful business person is not always when the market is good, you know. If you basically start saying, if the market is good, I can, you know, do a lot of good things, anybody can do it. The good basically business person is when basically start getting up when the market is very fragile, you know. Right. So you can basically start delivering your experience from what the past was and things like that. So yeah, it's a real definitely challenge. I think we are still going somehow through that basically process, but I think we have survived. That's one of the good things in there. And we are standing still, and we definitely have a good future. It's just basically not really a problem.
The experience which you got in the Middle East or in Europe side, it's allowed you to have a strong communication also. And to be as an advisor in the market, it is not easy without experience.
Sure.
But mashallah, you work in different fields, Oman, United Arab Emirates, Australia, then you moved to Switzerland. That's all. It was for you a study the market, we can say, or how it was for you? Or we can say you need to work for it?
See, it wasn't, obviously when you're working for someone else, you know, it's very different when you are having your own business, you know.
Right.
It's got pros and cons there. It's got advantages and disadvantages, because when you're working for someone, obviously you're committed to do something, and this is part of your responsibility. You're obliged to do some kind of way. But you know that every month, you know, your fund is coming, your salary is coming, rather than basically having a business. Business, when you're having a lot of challenges are there, you know. Absolutely. But there is a lot of things that you can be proud of, you know. One of the reasons that I actually selected with all these countries that I have been, Dubai, because I found Dubai is the right place, is a hub actually to what I want to do, you know. And reason being is because there is a good network. Many, you don't believe, when I was in Australia, everybody, it's not only me talking about Dubai, you know. Everyone else, you know, wanted, oh, you know, how is it Dubai? How can I have a business there? How can I have a property there? All these things, you know. So the name itself is a brand for me, you know. When I'm going around and I'm saying, I have a company since 2010. It's been about 14 years I've been in UAE, more or less you could say that. So, and I take a pride of that. Really, I'm very basically proud for being here. And the good thing with Dubai is you're very secure, you know, your business is very secure. Of course, you know, challenges are always there, you know, in all over the basically globally. When there is a financial crisis, it can happen anywhere. But in terms of basically having the right place, knowing your own products, Dubai is the right place that I have been. And I'm very proud to be here, to be honest with you, you know.
We choose the brand country and we choose Alfred to be in the middle of Dubai,
sure.
GLT. Let us to know exactly more about your specialized in the market. How you build also the trust with your communication. It is very important.
Sure. Well, people like me, my reputation speaks for itself when you look at my profile from the past, because I've been in globally, I would say, in market for about, I started my career actually back in 1982. So you could say just about 44 years, if I'm not mistaken, 44 years. Different field, different areas, different countries, different companies. So that itself, it gives me basically a real good confidence, what I want to do, And this is when I speak to my clients and they know my commitment, they know who I am and things like that, gives them some kind of trust who they are dealing with. That is definitely something. Obviously, the trust doesn't come in only by word, you need to also demonstrate that, you have to show them that you are trusting me because I can deliver you a better services. I can give you a better product, Other than that, you can have, I don't know, more than 4 years experience, but it doesn't basically show. That trust is not easy to basically gain unless you show it to the people. And that's what I have done, People know me not only here in Dubai, they've known me in different basically countries, I am very result-oriented. I work based on a business ethics, definitely my integrity, whether in this company or anywhere, it definitely some things that I can remark on that. That's basically something that people know me by that. That's basically where it comes from.
And if I ask you about to build a team from the experience which you work with an international company or with a local company, to build a team that's very important because the success came together.
Sure.
How you select or what's the strategy to have a right team in the market? And also how to keep them updated always, how to train them, which way the right way to have it from your experience.
Yeah. See, having the right team is having the right people in the right job. That's basically there. When you choose somebody, obviously no one is perfect, One of the things that I always done with my staff is to empower them, and to train them to basically do what they need to do. Certain people, they have certain comfort zone, They cannot stretch themselves behind that, You need to basically encourage them that, the market is open. The thing is open. And then the good one thing also is to setting goals for them. Where we go from here. Many staff, when they come in, they feel a bit insecure. Okay, how is the company itself? Is it secure enough? How long it's been? What's the culture of the company and things like that? So you need to basically definitely determine that. But having the right person in a right job is definitely is one of the key advantage that we need to do. Since 2000, I have been setting up this business. The two staff I've got, one of them is about 4 years. She's been with me. The other one just joined about a year before. But before that, I had people from different nationalities. And they were Arab national, they were European national, and they were Asian national and things like that. So we are very diversified. So, and that's one of the strengths, you could say, So people, they come in, they want to communicate with the right person, We have the resources to do it at the moment. So at the moment now, it's a bit of basically challenges for us until I move in, hopefully completely here. Then we'll basically do that. But as I said, having the right person definitely is the right thing to do, Training, you could only do when you see a growth in the company, And then we see that here in Alfred. And that's one of our strengths here, so we can do that.
From your experience also, let us know the difference between the Europe markets and the GCC markets.
Wow. That's quite basically a challenging question. See, European market, I don't know, should I relate it to the culture maybe? And GCC or Arab, basically, the different basically. But the main thing is there is always a certain goal, whether you are living in Europe, whether you are here in GCC. Well, in Europe, there are different restrictions because of the law and regulations there. Within the GCC here, they've got different regulations that you need to respect definitely. And whether it comes from the religious background or basically from the cultural background. So where you live is not that country has to adapt themselves to you. You need to adapt yourself to them. And then that's definitely is the key area here, See, even if you look at basically European, when you say European is totally a different basically again environment. You can look at, for example, or compare Australia with Switzerland. Still, there is different basically culture.
Right.
Even if you look at, because one of the things is I worked in American companies, which is Kellogg's. I work in European company, which is linked. They themselves, within them, basically have a different culture. So how you adapt yourself and how you learn from that culture, that's something that you need to be prepared to. And luckily, I was blessed to basically being exposed to in 2 different or 3 different cultures, you know. So it's been very easy for me to adapt myself here.
And if you see the growth, where we see the growth at the moment more better, in Europe side or in GCC countries or in the United Arab Emirates?
Again, it's a bit difficult to say because if, for example, if I compare in GCC itself, I don't want to basically put a demarcation there and segregate the countries, but I can see, for example, a lot of opportunities in UAE, in particular in Dubai. The growth is there because the infrastructure is there, you know. They've been ready long time. I'm sure there are rooms for improvement everywhere it is, but that basic infrastructure is already been built in here. So the growth is much easier. I think Qatar is becoming another maybe hub, but by the time it gets to here, it takes a long time. To me, Dubai still is the center of everywhere, you know, it's everything there. European market, obviously, it can be very fragile. Of course, there is a lot of tax basically imposing there in terms of their financial sectors and things like that. So it's really different. It's very difficult to justify which one is basically better and things like that. But to me, to be honest with you, Dubai has been the place, you know. And I will never change this company for anything else. Many companies, they came and go and things like that. This is the company I want to basically grow. And I think we have a lot of potential to do so. With my field, with my strength from the working for people, working alone by myself, I know I can drive this to the next level, and I can do that.
How you see the easier to start a business in United Arab Emirates from, I mean, as a person who has a good relation with the government and also to start a business or license. Some of the countries, it's take really long time, many documents to be needed. But in UAE, how it is easier to start?
If I go back to the history since 2010 until today, that's 2024, I can tell you, if I had to basically obtain a license back then in 2010, it would have taken me, I don't want to exaggerate, but that's the reality, you know. It would have been somewhere around 3 weeks. I can do that now within 4 days. So you can see the improvement that UAE has already put in place. One of the good things in UAE is there is always improvement. You don't believe every time I go to Oman and I come back about a month or 2, I see different changes again, you know. And one of the other good thing is their customer service. They service you the best they can, you know. So it has got much easier than what it was before. That's the reason one of our activities is business setup. And we are trying to basically encourage people from different countries globally to come here and start investing, because this is the right place to do so. And then if I didn't have that confidence, things would be a lot of challenging. Obviously, I wouldn't step my basic foot in there. But there are a lot of opportunities, and I've seen the way Dubai, Emirates, you could say, as thing has grown. And then one of the good things is very diversified, and different culture, different people, they are here and things like that. So, as I said, there are still room for improvement. But what I see here, what I witness compared with what it used to be, is much quicker, much faster. And maybe we can thank the technology on this, because, you know, website now, online applications, everything done online here and there, it makes things, of course, much easier. Right. But to build that platform itself is a challenge. So that's basically the answer.
Let us go back to the real estate. How you see the growth of real estate in United Arab? 14 years, 2010 till today, 2020.
When I was in Australia, 2009, was it 2008 when I bought this office? I bought this office actually. Of course, it was off plan, you know. This building, obviously, there was nothing, JLT and things like that. Everybody was talking about Dubai. Let's buy, properties here and there. Nobody was thinking about residency. Just having a property itself was good for them. I always wanted to have a commercial, basically, office here, which I did, and it was much easier. When I came 2008, obviously, with that financial crisis happened, and all countries, they got basically affected. Maybe Dubai a bit more because it's all about demand and supply, There was a lot of supply, not much of a demand, And obviously the market got so saturated, that everybody buy. All of a sudden got to a stage that nobody wanted to buy. I think that's one of the reasons that time Dubai got a bit basically suffered, from the real estate perspective. And then since then, we never came back to what it used to be. However, when I see now, compared with what it used to be in 2008, I think the market is stabilized. People can afford. I cannot judge other people because somebody can challenge me. No, because you have the money, maybe you can afford to do that. But I'm only talking on my personal opinion. It's still affordable to buy. Depends, obviously, the location, where you want to buy, where you want to invest. But there are areas that you can still invest, 100%. And as I mentioned, it's the right place to live, not only right place to work. I think it's a nice place to live. It's not because I have a nice gentleman sitting in front of me, but overall I can see the Emiratis people, even Omanis, really in hospitality, they've been excellent, And maybe climate is a bit hot here and there, but if you go to Europe, you can see a real cold weather. So we cannot complain about the climate here and not complain there, So it's more or less the balance, how you basically balance your life. But I'm hoping to buy something here when I move in here. I don't know where though, because yesterday I was actually in one of the shopping center. I was looking around and looking at some of the things. Okay, some prices were high and things like that. So we'll see how we go. But real estate, what it used to be, I don't really think it's gonna go back to where happened in, 1999. And prices just hike up for no reason and things like that. I think there are good systematic regulation there, especially by implementing RERA there. RERA has been one of the good basically things that it came in and really start regularizing what the real estate is supposed to be. I remember when I came to Dubai those times, even taxi driver was selling,
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. Everybody, you want a property, and so anyway, but now I think it's a bit more stabilized.
If you talk also about the COVID-19, how it changed the mind of people and also how it was affect the people, how you see after that, the people, how it's getting out from that in the United Arab Emirates or in the Middle East?
See, COVID, obviously, since I'm living in Middle East, I can only judge in Middle East, but I was in Australia just when COVID started. I left Australia, and Australia was never basically a lot of issues there from what I hear from my friend. To be honest with you, again, I go back to what I said during our interview in the first. COVID itself, it was a good lesson to everybody,
Right.
Of course, a lot of people unfortunately lost their life. A lot of companies, they got bankrupt because of, they didn't have that, what we call a foundation, you could say, and, But it basically taught a lot of people you can live in different way. You don't have to be always in meeting room. You can always do in your Zoom, You don't really have to basically start, different things, Traveling much and things, exactly. So you can do different things and you can live actually. Okay, beginning was a lot of panic. People, they were all basically concerned about their health. I don't want to cough, I don't want to shake hand and all this thing because I might get exposed and things. But overall, I see that as part of my strength. It really taught me a lot personally, I could have closed my business as well, because a lot of things happen in my, But I started my basically business, as I said, very cautiously, I'm very, many people, they say, okay, you are always looking at the longer horizon. And that's my strength. I always basically get myself ready for anything that happens. I try to be ready for that because you never know. Market nowadays is very unpredictable, very fragile. Whether it can be COVID, can be flat. Remember, I think around 3 weeks back, we had a lot of rain in here. I could never see in UAE, especially in Sheikh Zayed, become flooded and things like that. It affected basically a lot of people again. But coming out of that, not only from the people perspective, even the government, they can start building the infrastructure, They can start dealing with, if any other pandemic comes in, how can I deal with it,
So ready.
Absolutely. So we don't really have to always think about if this disaster comes, I may actually die or I may collapse and things like that. You need to take the advantage of situation in the worst basically time. If you do that, you're a successful businessman. That's the message I'm giving also to the people that they want to step in here. This is what I normally think people, they have to be ready for.
How you keep your relations strong with your client?
Commitment is definitely one. People, as I said, they can give you false promises left and right, And once you demonstrate that you can do things, then that becomes much, much easier. Commitment is always been my, what we call it now, part of my principle, part of my core, basically, side of business. And another one is meeting the target. And I always basically like to plan and try to basically meet the deadline. That's why I'm basically trying to show that and send that message to my staff as well, And those are the basically two key areas that basically I do, Obviously, accessible. I want to be basically client to be able to access me anytime. Even though I'm sitting in Oman, I get a lot of clients basically calling me, They're Turkish basically languages, Iranian languages, and they talk to me and here and there. So I don't have much problem with them and things like that. So once you show your commitment to the clients, that's when you can also basically build your trust with them.
And if we talk about after sales service, how we can support our client always?
After sale.
Yeah.
See,
because some of the people we will not see them after sales.
Exactly. See, company like us, we provide services, To do that is part of your marketing strategy is not only to have a good social media and things like that, because what I believe on the marketing is more about word of mouth. If you give a good service to somebody, he or she will go and basically start spreading your name to everyone. Right. I went to Alfred, they have done this for me. They've done it in the right price. They've done it in the right time. And what I want is, so why don't you just do that? And we have a lot of clients getting basically referred by other clients to us. We don't know, of course. We have our own social media. We have our own website. That's part of our basically strength as well. But most of the time, we get basically referred clients by other clients that we already finished them, and they don't stop. They come in. They want us to basically give the same services to their family, to their friends, to the people that they know, and that basically speaks a lot about ourselves. It's just basically something that. So whether or not you finish the sales and you say, thank you so much, we try also to send, because we have a database, we normally send them every occasion here and there, that, happy Eid and all these things, so they know that we're still here. And then we also tell them what are other promotions, that is coming up, so that they will know they can also speak about that. So things like that, that's basically part of our thing.
And the social media, how it's helped to improve the business also?
A lot, actually, a lot. And to be honest with you, we have a company that we outsource, and they do our basically services. At least every activity happens every month, and it actually helped us a lot, because then we get exposed to many other countries outside UAE, So we don't really have to concentrate on within the local, market. So we are basically marketing in Asia, we are marketing in Europe, in US, Canada, and basically in Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. We are exposed everywhere, except those areas which is restricted, which is beyond our control. But we do have everywhere.
Mr. Fred, today if I ask you about the best advice you ever giving to the people who are planned to invest in United Arab Emirates or in the GCC country? What's your best advice?
What I would do is I'll tell them from people perspective, get to know the culture. Get to know the culture, because as I said, you cannot move into a country and try to ask them to adopt themselves to you. You need to adopt themselves to that culture. That is very, very important, you know. You can be expert in many fields, but unless you don't relate to the people, you don't relate to the community, to the culture, it will be very difficult. Another thing I'll definitely tell them is get to know your product. What do you really want to do? You know, don't jump to these things because it will never work, you know. Get to know your product, do your business plan, have the right structure, and as I said, see where you want to go within 5 or 10 years or things like that. Don't come in and just say within 1 year I want to be millionaire or billionaire and just move on. To me, it won't happen unless a miracle happens. I don't know. But unless you don't basically get to know what you really want to do, what you really want to deliver to your client, it's going to be very difficult. To be honest with you, since 2010, I have been here 14 years. I'm still learning. I mean, the world for me is a big library. Since you are born right through the end, you keep learning, you know. No one can say I'm perfect, you know. I've been in different fields, as I said, companies, countries, but still I'm learning from what I do. Many people, they come, even young people, they come in. Because the mind that I've got, sometimes I cannot, because they come from the fresh, basically, mind. I try to see, to me, sometimes it's a bit funny, but when I'm looking at it, I sit back and I say, no, this guy was saying the right thing, you know. So this is definitely what I'm saying to them. Get to know the product and don't be scared of taking risk, as long as it's a calculated risk, you know. Of course, I'm not saying all of a sudden you go and invest, I don't know, $1 million dirham or things like that, thinking that by, I don't know, 30 days or something, you'll become millionaire. Get to know the things. Make a risk if you know where you think you can do it.
You are sure about it.
And then be sure about it, you know. There is no perfect things to say, really, you know, but I mean, many companies with best ideas, they still go bankrupt. But if you have that commitment, don't get scared. Go ahead and do it, you know.
And if I ask you about the AI and technology, which after COVID-19, most of the people move into that side, and some of the young generation which help also, which we not have it that strong, we can say AI in our whole journey, but at the moment, the social media is very strong and the AI, how it's helped the new generation also to approve themselves in the market also, know more about the business and to have more idea also, and different fields
Yeah.
and also different requirements also.
See, networking is always the best thing. How do you network? Is actually using the social medias, you know, Instagram, Facebook, and all these things, you know. And how you use those tools in your advantage is definitely one of the key area, you know. And having the right marketing, that basically social media, you know. Anybody can write anything in those things, you know, but how you can basically make sure the message is clear to your client or to the people that they basically, that's definitely. The good thing with the younger generation now is you can see them obviously always in the, you know, chats and things like that. So with that, I don't think they have much problem on things like that. There are also some disadvantage there, obviously, is because they may basically start utilizing them for the wrong reason and things like that. But if they are coming to a business, to me, market has changed from long back what it used to be, you know. Many people before, they used to have basically marketing in the TV program.
Right.
They still do that, more or less, or they do it in the radio. But nowadays, nobody, I mean, I'm not saying nobody reads newspaper or things like that, but many people, the younger generation, they are only relying on what the social media says. Because there is a lot of things in there, a lot of information, you know, from different products, easy to get, exactly. All I've got to do, for example, to Google, and I said this product, I can get it like 1,000 of them, exactly. You know, sometimes I get confused which one is which and things like that, unless I try it. You know, it's all about try and error, you know. So I just base it. But as I said, information is very accessible nowadays, you know. You can use those tools to your advantage.
How you manage your time from different street, different business, Oman, Emirates, Australia, all that, how you move all and how you manage your time?
It's about priorities, you know. My priorities, obviously, at the moment when I go to Oman is my work. I'm very passionate about what I do. Definitely, I'm very, very passionate about the company that I'm working in Oman. My commitment is 100% to them, you know, when it comes to that. I use this at the moment, obviously, utilizing my staff to do it. When they come, there are things I can do it by myself, but I try to make sure segregating within the two so that it doesn't affect one another, you know, because then it's just not going to work, you know.
Right.
So I do things the best I can, and then difficult to manage sometimes, but once you put your priorities right, and then you say, okay, you have the right, basically, time management, then you can actually manage all these things, you know. And it's all about experience too. If I would have come to the market just new, then yeah, there was a bit of panic here and there. But since I've been in the market long enough, I know the market in UAE, I know the market in Oman, I know the market in many other basic countries that I've been. So for me, it's very easy to basically to do that. And I think that's basically that.
Mr. Fred, who built your character? Who's your role models?
Business-wise, I can say definitely Bill Gates would have been one of the right person I can basically mention. My own father definitely was, because he was actually the financial director during his time, you know, when he moved to them. And if I don't want to exaggerate, if I want to basically be a visionary person, my role model would be Sheikh Mohammed, definitely. Because building a country like this, and when I'm coming from the other side of the world, since 1999, and all of a sudden I see a country, you know, or a region like this compared with what I've seen, it's totally a different thing, you know. I've seen many companies, studied many countries, Europe, Australia, US, Canada, and things like that. But again, without any exaggeration, UAE is, for me, jewel of the Nile.
Today,
It's something else.
Today, if you have a message or a thanks message to the people who support you, we can call them youth back, the people who are around, who are these people?
To be honest with you, the leader of UAE is 100%, with no doubt. That's the reason I'm here, you know. And I really want to thank them, His Highness, and obviously all the UAE leaders, you know, to give me, anyway, as an expat, you know, as an Australian, humble Australian, an opportunity to be in their country and do what I think is the right thing to do, you know. Servicing people and giving help to the other basically people is, I really want to thank them, you know, because this opportunity doesn't come everywhere, you know. I'm not saying that I couldn't do it in Australia here and there, but here for me life is much, much easier for me. Everything for me is accessible, especially from security perspective. It's a region which is very, very secure. You can say that. You already spoke my language. You can see that. I just want to really thank the leader of the UAE's, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, and all the leaders that they have given me in UAE. They have given me the opportunity of being here in Dubai. And as I mentioned, I've been here since 2010. And this is where I really want to basically live, in Dubai. And I just want to also thank them for giving me the opportunity of servicing the clients that I've got with different nationalities, different languages and things like that. So again, thank you very much for the security you have given me, for the opportunity you have given me as an expat, as an Australian, humble Australian. And I hope that I can contribute a lot more to the nation and as well as to the company itself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Fred Ghazal, and inshallah, I wish for you all the best and for your business to grow more and to be one of the leaders in the market.
Thank you very much. Thank you kindly. Thanks again. Thank you. Thanks again.
في كل إمارة تروح تسندك عقل وروح حاجة ترد